a mosquito. Goddess Queen Jamila here. Oh my God. Can you believe that lip liner on the lip is coming back? Like they say that things that were old always come back, but I didn't realize I didn't realize that lip liner would be one of those things. Um, I had a friend years ago who would always give me hell about my lip liner. Like she'd be like, why you always wearing that? Baby, I love me some lip liner on the lips. Can't nobody take it from me. So, peace and greetings. Goddess Queen Jamila here. And I am reporting to you live. I have been doing more lives lately and really trying to get into the groove of live stuff, you know. Today I am talking to you about my clients and just some client stories, people that I've worked with in the past. Um, I have really been working since 2011. I mean, business wise, like I have really been running my own business since 2011. And I've met a lot of women over the years. You know, I've done a lot of work with a lot of women. And I will say, let me just start with the narrative of like how I got started in the work that I do now. So, I initially didn't start off as a spiritual life coach working with burned out and overwhelmed Black women, working with Black women on the healing journey. I initially didn't start out that way. I started out, oh gosh, I'm so upset with myself. Let me go get my tea because I know I'm going to be thirsty and sitting here feeling some type of way because I don't have, unless I have my tools, my handy dandy tools to support me. All right, I'm back. So, yeah, I didn't start out as a spiritual life coach. I started out working with, well, before I even started business, I was working as a teacher. So I was working as a teacher and I taught at the elementary school level, then I went up to middle school, then I went to high school. When I went to teaching for the high school, I um, I liked it, but it was a different environment. The high school that I was teaching at was a juvenile detention center. And so I worked with children who had been arrested, detained, who had been locked up. Peace and greetings, peace and greetings. Um, yeah, so arrested, detained, locked up, who had been like, you know, put behind bars for sexual assaults, robberies, etc. So I worked as a high school teacher. If you're watching right now, go ahead and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that at the beginning, but I didn't. So, yeah. So I worked as a teacher um, when I graduated from college. I went straight into working as a full time teacher. And like I said, I worked teaching small children, I worked teaching middle school children, and then finally I worked teaching high schoolers. And it was an interesting job, I will say, you know, because those children who had committed those crimes, at the end of the day, they were still children. They were still very much children. Like they would cry, they would whine, they would complain, they would beg for things. Like, they were still children. And so, one thing is clear for me: if I wasn't working with women, I'd be working with children. It's like women and children. That's my arena. So anyhow, I worked there for a while, and then I also went to work at another high school, and that was a private school. And at that private school, I was asked to be the principal of the school. And so that was my kind of like, that was my career before life coaching. Before I became a life coach, I was a teacher. And thank you for liking the live. And so I became a life coach like around the time that I lost my, well, before I lost my dad. What happened was, in that school environment that I was working in, it was really, really hostile. Like, the administration was terrible. I hated working with administration. Like, it wasn't even the kids, that juvenile detention center wasn't the kids. It was really the administration that made things like very hard. And I really hated working with administration. And I was begging to get fired. Like, let's be honest. I was like, please just fire me. Just gonna let me go, because this is not it. So they went ahead and they did fire me. And please subscribe to my channel. I know quite a few of you are in the room. Welcome, Kari Busana. So they went ahead and fired me, and they fired me wrongfully. So I was able to collect unemployment and get a check. And with that check that I got from unemployment, I turned around and I started my first business. Now, before I started business, I went and got like coaching certification. So I got a life coaching certification, and I started my first business. My first business was called Camp Butterfly Bella. Camp Butterfly Bella. Oh my gosh, I could cry when I talk about this. That business um, was a summer camp after school enrichment program. And my focal point was little girls who needed to build up their confidence, who wanted to know more about their skills and talents, like just really wanted to be exposed to new things. Like, that was the real theme of my program, was exposure. And so I started Camp Butterfly Bella in 2011, and that was a girls only program. And just to be clear, like, I was already very single gendered in programming, because I had gone to Agnes Scott College. Agnes Scott College is an all women's college in Decatur, Georgia, and I had graduated from Agnes Scott. So I was already in that single gender type of environment. You know, I had two girls myself. And so, like, I was very tapped in and tuned into the needs of girls, women, and girls. So, I started Camp Butterfly Bella. And when I started Camp Butterfly Bella, like, it was just a magical program, magical time in my life, magical place with these girls. Like, we did everything. I took them to the chocolate factory. You know, they made skits, they did art, they did horseback riding. We went on so many different field trips. I mean, like, I really poured my heart and soul into Camp Butterfly Bella. So, yeah, that's Bay. But I kind of like recognized that the work I was doing with Camp Butterfly Bella wasn't really enough. Like, it wasn't hitting the bigger picture. And let me talk about my bigger picture at that time. At that time, my bigger picture was really impacting, like, families, impacting community, like doing something that would have a bigger impact. So I thought that because girls were suffering from self-esteem issues and low confidence issues, I thought that by reaching them in that type of programming, that I would be getting to my bottom line, getting to my mission, which is that bigger impact. What I didn't realize was that I didn't realize at the time was that the girls that we see that are oftentimes struggling with self-esteem issues, if a girl is struggling with her voice, if she's not speaking up for herself, if girls when a girl is struggling in that sort of way, what it does is to it actually speaks to her mom. Like mothers are the guiding light and the guiding force in the life of a girl. So even when a girl is not very confident, what you find is that her mother at that time of her life, that same age, that same stage, her mother did not have that same level of confidence. Like it's not the girl. The girl wasn't born that way. She's mirroring things. She's like seeing the way, and then she is demonstrating that with her own actions. So after like a few summers of working with the girls in Camp Butterfly Bella, I started to like notice how we do all this great work during the summertime, and then they'd go back to school, and then like by the time they come back the next summer, we'd have to like kind of go back over the same concepts. And I noticed this for a while until I just started sitting down with the girls and the moms and doing interviews. Like I started sitting down and saying, like, what's going on? And please subscribe to the channel if you're a Black woman watching Kadi Busana. I am the Black Woman's Healing House, and God is Queen Jamil. This is what I do. So anyhow, so I started sitting down with my campers and their moms and asking them questions about their experience, like why why is she still struggling in this, like what's happening. And of course the girls wouldn't really be able to answer it, like they're not analyzing themselves. But what started to happen is I started to interview the moms one on one, like, hey mama, so what do you think is going on? And then I'd ask, like, what were you like at this age? And what I found is all the things from body issues, to feeling insecure, to not wanting to look a certain way or whatever. Like a lot of these issues were stemming from mamas. So that kind of like put me in a meditative, contemplative arena. Like I started to get really contemplative and say, like, okay, if my goal is to have this impact on the family and the community at large, then who do I need to be working with one on one? Like, if it's not the girls, then who is it? And what came up at that time was these mamas. You need to be working with these mamas. So I pivoted the business. I closed down Camp Butterfly Bella. Like, I completely closed it down, which to this day, I'm telling you, if there was a baby that I've had in business, it's definitely Camp Butterfly Bella. Like I don't even think I've mourned it. Like I didn't realize that you could get so attached to a business, but it's like everything that I poured into Camp Butterfly Bella. And y'all, when I tell you the parents loved it, the girls loved it, like it was a one of a kind program in Decatur, Georgia. Like I'm from Decatur, so I felt like I had to give back. It was a one of a kind type of program in Decatur, Georgia. And like I really poured my all into it, right? I really poured my all into it. So, yeah. I didn't know that you could mourn like a business, but I definitely, yeah, that was a special time in my life. And then there was something really crazy and just unfortunate that happened at that time. I was running that business and literally got jumped. Literally got jumped by a lady. Preposterous. Like, got jumped. Like, I was probably like 20, what was that, like 24 years old? I had poured every single dollar into Camp Butterfly Bella. I had poured every single resource I had into Camp Butterfly Bella. And towards the end of the summer, the last summer that I ran the program, towards the end of the summer, it was the most traumatic experience I've ever had in business, ever had in business, because I got attacked by the cleaning lady. Like, the cleaning lady in the building was absolutely deranged. Her name was Mary. She was deranged. And I don't even know what would possess her to attack me in that physical way, but this is what happened. What happened was I I was there early in the morning, so I opened the camp probably around 7 o'clock in the morning. And when I opened, um the door wouldn't unlock, like the front door wouldn't unlock, like it wouldn't unlock. So I could open it with the lock, but the handle just wouldn't swing open. And I knew I had parents coming in, and so the parents usually came and the kids would be dropped off. So they would just walk into the camp facility. It was a multi-use building. So I propped the door. I propped the door so that the kids could just walk in when they got there, no problem. So I propped the door and went into my office, setting up breakfast and stuff for the children. And when I came back out, I hear banging at the door. Maybe 20 minutes later, I came back out. And when I came back out, there were parents banging at the door like they couldn't get in. So I'm like, I don't understand why this door isn't even, like, I just propped it. So I propped it again, went back to work again, banging again. So I go back outside, and this time the cleaning lady is telling me not to prop the door. And I'm like, what do you mean not don't prop the door? My kids need to get in. Like, this, I'm running a business here. The door is not unlocking, so either you figure out how to unlock the door, or this door is getting propped. So she started yelling, being very aggressive, and I was like, "Listen, lady, like, I'm not about to go back and forth with you. The door is getting propped. That's it." This lady proceeds to physically attack me, and starts dragging me towards the back of the building, threatening to throw me off of a balcony. I cannot lie and say that I was prepared to get in a fight that morning at my place of business. I can't lie and say that mentally I was prepared. Mentally, I was like, what is happening? I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where a fight is ensuing and you're not even sure how you got here, and you're still trying to figure, my, what do they call it, flight or flight instincts. Like, my fight instincts did not kick in that moment, and I don't even know how I got there, but it was just a mess. And the only thing that basically stopped that lady from throwing me off of a balcony was there was an attorney upstairs who was renting another suite, and so he came out and he was like, absolutely not, like, back up. And so I was really shook. I was really, really shook, really traumatized. Called the police. The police was like, we didn't see anything, so it's her word against yours. And she was saying that. She was walking around like, it's my word against yours. Like, you know, baby, you know the law. Obviously, you're a criminal. So it was it was a traumatic situation for me. And like I said, it was my first time running any kind of business, and I was 24 years old, really trying to give back to the community, really trying to do the right thing. Um, I had saw so much working as a teacher in DeKalb County. I had seen so much. I had experienced so much. I had observed so much with these little girls, and I just really wanted to do my part. So, at any rate, that was very discouraging. That was the first time I left the country on a solo trip. So after that summer, I literally packed my bags and went to the Dominican Republic by myself. And that was my first experience using Airbnb, because Airbnb was so new at the time. Airbnb was like brand new, and like the concept of renting someone's house who's a stranger, they could be a serial killer and staying at their house, that was like so new. Nobody was doing Airbnb back in 2010. Like I would say I was one of the first Airbnb people. I was on it. So I booked an Airbnb. I went to the Dominican Republic. I was there by myself. I stayed there by myself. And crazy enough, that was the first time I realized that black men were flying abroad for, whatever kind of experiences. That was my first interaction with passport boys, because I didn't even know that that existed. But that's a topic for another time. Today we are talking about how I got started as a life coach and just my journey leading up to that. And if you're watching, feel free to subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, all the things. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. Give thanks. Yeah, give thanks. Whoever that is, they must be beautiful. So, anyhow, yeah, after I went on that trip, I came back and I really reflected on like what was next, what should I be doing. You know, I had done the interviews with the moms and the girls, and decided from there that I would be working with women. And the type of women that I decided to work with was women who were in the small business startup capacity and work more or less as a business kind of coach, like a business coach. And so I started this Facebook group. I started posting, like I started doing motivational posting. Like I really started going harder than the paint. Like I went hard. And before I knew it, my Facebook group got to be like 1,000 people deep. I had to hire an admin. She was magnificent. Her name was Courtney Thomas. She was magnificent and really supported me. I started doing like speeches, speaking events, and learned that I really had a talent for speaking. Really had have a solid talent for speaking, presenting, and a lot of that comes from working as a teacher. A lot of that also comes from being raised by a father. My dad, Keith James, he was a storyteller and he was a speaker. So I have inherited that asset, that talent, that gift as a griot from my dad. So got into speaking. The things that I hate that I didn't do was record all the things that I did. I didn't record all of my speaking engagements. I didn't record me, I just didn't record me as much as I should have. And so that is, one thing that I did learn over time. But yeah, so I started working as a business coach, and that went really well. A lot of women who were doing business were interested in being supported, and were interested in learning more about how to run a business efficiently. So I did that, and um, I think I made like $1,000. Probably more, maybe $2,000 or $3,000 from Facebook groups at that time, because I literally like was giving all of my attention and effort every day to Facebook groups and developing relationships and building bonds with people, reaching out, selling to them, etc. So I had a course. The course was called Brand New Queen You. And Brand New Queen You was a bomb ass course. It was definitely centered around branding. And I really went into how to establish like your client base and establish your offer, etc. So I killed that one. I really did. I will say that at my peak, as business coach, I was definitely on top of things. And I even did a group coaching course with that Brand New Queen U. So I definitely I did well. I did really well. But then I took a life coaching certification course. Um, I did that in like 2013ish, 2014. And when I did that, oh, it's like, ah, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Honey, that was like a crowning moment in my life, because I started to understand levels of like actual consciousness. Like, We are so much bigger than our problems. We're so much bigger than our childhood. One of the things that was really rampant in my community at the time that I was becoming was this concept that I am my story. That's what people used to think. I am my story. I am who I am today because of what happened to me in the past. And taking that life coaching certification really put a divider on that thought process. It really cleared that thought process up for me so that I was no longer operating from that I am what happened to me model. Um, it was helping me to understand that these things happen and they just need to be acknowledged first. Like, things are happening or things have happened and you've never dealt with it. Like, things have happened and you've separated yourself from it. Things have happened and you've never gone back and like rectified it. You've never gone back and said to yourself, like, I'm really sorry that that happened to you. So you are the living manifestation of everything that's happened in your life. However, you are not what has happened to you. Like, you are not what has happened to you. And that was a concept that I like, it clicked for me early enough to where when I met my sacred sister later on, like way later on, met my sacred sister Providentia, and she said, I'm an addict, right? She had already gone through like being addicted to something and substance abuse, but she said, like, I'm an addict. And then she went on to like list other things. And I'm like, why are you saying you're an addict? And she's like, it's part of the process. It's part of what we say to, keep ourselves aware. And I'm like, no, it was like part of this process, like part of this 12-step process. I don't know, for people to say like, I am this. But I told her, like, you saying I am this is an affirmation. Like, you're literally affirming something in your life, and that's not healthy. That's not it. So, you know, yeah, we are not what has happened to us. You are not what has happened to you. Things have happened to you. You don't like them. Things have happened to you. They've hurt you. You are not the thing that hurt you. And as a matter of fact, I then went on to fully understand later on that, like, when we sit in the essence of what happened and we don't make amends with it, it's like we're living a trauma. I don't know if you've ever met someone who is like suffering from PTSD, but what PTSD is and how I would articulate it is PTSD is like the concept of I'm like, we're here together and we're having this conversation, but like, you flashed back into something that happened to you before, and like, you're living in that time zone. So like, think of it like a movie. You know how like when you're watching a movie, something's going on, but like the person's mind is like somewhere else, you know? Like, they're seeing something different. They're experiencing something different from what's actually sitting right in front of them. So, yeah, like with the PTSD, that is a reminder that this trauma happened to you, but it's actually not here in your present moment. Like, it's not here. You're not in it anymore. And so that flashback is so deceiving because, again, you're not in it anymore. So anyhow, yeah, going through that life coaching course really opened my eyes to the levels of life that we can experience and that we can live as human beings. Like, this physical body is one layer, but then the mind is another layer, but then the spirit, the heart, that's a different layer. There's the Holy Trinity is not Jesus and the Holy Spirit and God. The Holy Trinity is mind, body, and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit. You are the Holy Trinity in essence, because your mind is separate from your body, which is separate from your spirit and what's inside of you. So really understanding that there's a separation of that, and then really looking at the experiences that help to form us, was really how I became a life coach. So I entered the realm of life coach. Remember, I started the business, Camp Butterfly Bella, transitioned into business coach, then transitioned again into full blown life coach, right? So being aware of all that, I was like, okay, got it. Like this is what it is. And at that time, I was doing like coaching sessions, like one-on-one coaching sessions. I would work with a client, they would come to me with an objective, they would come to me with a goal, and then we would work together to achieve that, for them to achieve that goal. So I was doing one-on-one work with clients, and that was, wonderful at the time. And I will say that while I don't remember every single client that I've ever worked with, there are certain clients who I can't forget. And part of the reason why I can't forget them is because of the impact that took place on their life as a result of us working together. Um, there were quite a few clients that came to me that I knew had potential to do a lot of great things, but weren't really ready or willing to invest in themselves. And that was their barrier. Like they couldn't just wrap their mind around it. Like I'll never forget there was one lady who came to me for coaching. I think her name was Miracle. And she came to me for coaching because she was an alkaline chef. Like she did alkaline foods, and I don't know if you know what alkaline is, but alkaline foods are promoted by Dr. Sebi, and Dr. Sebi, who's now deceased, is a holistic practitioner and teacher. Please subscribe to my channel. I know you're still watching at this point. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So Dr. Sebi um, was a holistic teacher and practitioner who really focused on alkaline foods. Like, this is how you live alkaline, this is how you eat alkaline, this is the benefit of alkaline foods. And Dr. Sebi would oftentimes explain that mucus was like a killer in our body. And so alkaline foods just kind of help to balance our bodies out. Like, our bodies need to be more alkaline. So Miracle came to me, and Miracle wanted to get coaching because she had just started her business, or started doing some things like really like offering alkaline recipes. She had a small daughter, and she was like figuring out how to accommodate the needs of a small child, but alkaline, right? So she came to me because she wanted to like monetize what she was doing. At the time, okay, peace and greetings, peace and greetings. At the time, she was like posting recipes on YouTube. She was buying food and like really actually teaching people how to make alkaline foods and come up with alkaline cookbook meals and all this stuff. She was doing a lot of stuff, and she's like, this is actually very, very costly, and it would be nice to get paid from it. And so I was like, absolutely, like, let's jump in, let's do the damn thing. And so I told her my price, which at that time it was kind of like pennies on the dollar because I was a new coach, so I wasn't charging accordingly. Like, I wasn't charging then what I would charge now. Like, there's coaching sessions that I've done in the past for like $60 because baby, I was new, I was a baby in it. So I gave her my price, and I was like, let me know. And so she just kind of went completely ghost, like, you know, and some people do that. Some people will have a whole consultation with you, and then after the consultation they'll be like, oh, I can do this myself, like, I don't need nobody. Okay, give thanks and praise, like, go ahead and do it. So, and I say that with full sarcasm. I say that because I understand the cycle of entrepreneurship. I understand that oftentimes true entrepreneurs are so creative and like so full of ideas, and like, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this and that and this. they're so full of ideas that they don't get much done. Especially new entrepreneurs. New entrepreneurs are like kids at the candy store. Like they just realized that they could actually do something and turn profit from it. So a lot of times, like new entrepreneurs are just way too all over the place. And yeah, focus and clarity have to be grounded into the entrepreneurial journey from early. Otherwise, you'll just be all over the place. So yeah, I spoke to Miracle, and I was like, what's going on? Like I sent her a message, no response. And what stands out from that is the fact that I never heard from her again. And I think I looked at her YouTube channel that she sent me maybe like 3 or 4 months after that. She was completely offline. Like she hadn't made a video, she hadn't done anything. Like she was completely gone from the scene. And that was a big like kind of moment for me in terms of understanding. What I took away from that is a lot of times by the time we get the energy and we get the battery, we get the gumption to like go to someone for help, then we have to understand like it's our time. By the time you're like, no, I made it all the way there to get help, then you can't get that far and then be like, oh, I can't go get the help that I need. Like you're already on the brink of something, either succeeding or failing. So get the help that you need. Figure it out. If it's a money thing, figure it out. If it's a time thing, figure it out. Like you can't get anything by starting at the starting line with self-doubt. You're not, where are you going with that? Where are you going with that? I described it I described it like starting at the race at the front line if you're running a race and shooting yourself in both feet before the start beep. You can't run a relay shot in both feet. And you're the one with the gun. Like, why would you do that? Why would you shoot yourself in the foot? So she was gone. And yeah, it was just a moment of reflection for me because it was like, whoa. Like these people that I work with are really big deals. And by the time they come to me or, arrive on my doorstep for help, like they really need help. So they really have to take themselves seriously. So that was a big aha for me. At any rate, let me talk about some of the people that I have worked with. So there was, where do I start? There was a client that I worked with who was doing like hairdressing work. And she came to me from a referral. Another friend had referred me or referred her to me. And again, all over the place, like not clear on the business plan, not clear on the strategy, not clear on what she was going to do or how she was going to do it, but really wanting to do something. And when she came with that energy, I realized like the first thing you need to do is really stabilize yourself, like, and walked her on the journey to stability. And a lot of times stability is like the first big step. Why is it the first big step? Because like we're living in a fast lane. You're living on this kind of hamster wheel, and you kind of got to stabilize and ground yourself before you can do anything real in this world. You got to stabilize and ground yourself. So stabilized her, gave her all these tips, tricks, and strategies, and she applied them and started to get results immediately. Immediately. And the biggest thing with me as a coach is I always tell people like I don't know your life, and I'm really not here to say I'm the expert of your life. I'm not the expert of your life. What I do know is life's processes. I know life's processes really, really well. And at this point, now it's been 15 years, I understand the demographic of the people that I work with well enough to be able to assist and cater to the needs of my demographic. Like I know you. I know what your life, the loose blueprint of what life is offering or what life has held, especially if you're attracted to me. If you're attracted to me and my work, because my work is not like other people's work. I'm very direct. I'm very direct. I was watching a video of myself yesterday. I was editing and watching a video of myself yesterday. And this is the video that I did the workshop from the Lionsgate, the Two Truths and One Lie, the Black Woman is God workshop. And baby, I had to pause my own video and take a step back and be like, girl, because my delivery be straight at you. Like if you didn't put on your makeup, if you didn't put on your shoes, if you didn't put on your hat, if you was not ready for the Riz, if you was not ready, because the Riz is coming. What? We up in here. So my style is very direct. Um, it's always laced in love. It's always anchored in love. It's always covered in love. And yet there's no real sweetness to it. There's no real it's not really sweet. It's like, sis, your booty out. You know? And I gotta tell you quickly before you walk up on that stage that your booty is out. Like you thought that you was pulling up your underwear. You did not. Your booty is out. And I don't want you to be embarrassed. And I don't want you to be up on the stage in front of people looking like that. And I'm telling you quickly and I'm telling you directly, I don't have time to consider your feelings in that moment. And that's just how I am. I rather me come and slap you with a bucket of water and put the fire out in your hair than me come and sit you down and try to have a conversation to explain to you that the water is going to be cold while your hair is still burning. That's Goddess Queen Jamila. Okay. And somebody said to me, oh, you know, you're rough around the edges or whatever. I don't feel like I'm rough around the edges. I am direct. And I'm direct because time is of the essence. We don't have time for formalities and all that other stuff. We want to get to the point, and I want you to get to your point. You came here for a reason. Let's get to it. So that's really my teaching style. And so, like I said, by the time people start watching my content, I know who I'm talking to, because I know my content doesn't resonate with everybody, and I'm good with that. I only want my content to resonate with the people who are aligned with who I am and what I do. And that's a very different place for me in business right now, because before, when I was first starting, like I told you, when I first got life coach certified, blah, 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 I was clear that I only wanted to work with women or girls, but I thought all Black women, all girls, all women, you know, I used to work with women of other races as well. So I thought all women, you know, and to an extent, all women do deal with the same kind of concrete issues, but the way that Black women deal with the issues that are faced before us is different. And even societal expectations, our collective grief, our collective trauma, our collective exhaustion, it falls into a different category. Ooh. I've been putting the camera up so that way I don't have to look down, because I have been, my neck, I feel like today, if it's possible, I need to go get a massage either today or tomorrow, because my neck is just not, it's not giving. Yeah, so anyhow, that client, she came in, we did the work together, and her brainwaves already started to change. That was years ago. Let me talk about some of my other clients. Let me talk about recent client. I had one client who was in my client funnel and cycle for about 4 or 5 years, and literally went through all of my programs. Start. You still there? Hello? Y'all still there? Let me know. If you just drop an emoji, drop a thumbs up or something so I can see. I think my video just went out. Greetings. Are you there? Can you see me? Can you hear me? I need somebody to drop me an emoji or something. My camera just cut out. If nobody can see me or hear me, I can cut it off and start over again. I don't think anyone is seeing me. I'm not sure. I see old comments. Can somebody comment or drop an emoji so I can know if I am being seen and heard in this moment? Okay, I think let me look at my phone. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut the live and start over again because I'm not sure what's going on. Greetings. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me?